Hey guys, welcome back. It's Carrie. Today I'm going to do the New York Times by the book tag. I just came across it like minutes ago. I looked through my subscriptions and I saw someone I subscribed to, JenCampbell, did it. I watched her video and I thought, I could do this. So I decided to do it. And I, she said who created it, but I actually didn't bother to see who that was, but I'm going to acknowledge her because she just inspired me to do it. So I'm going to do that. And it's just it it's just generic questions, so there's no like special theme to it. It's just like about some of the books you've read and things. It doesn't have like a theme like a lot of other book tags. So I'm going to get to it right now. Number 1 is what book is on your nightstand right now? And it's The Rosie Project by Graham. It says, I think it's Graham. It might be the word Graham Simpson. And I'm about to start reading this. Actually, I sort of planned on reading it kind of soon. So that was, and it was on my nightstand. I pulled it off my bookshelf, and I have a bookshelf here, and I have a bookshelf in my bedroom, and I pulled it off my bookshelf, preparing to start it. So yeah, that. What was the last truly great book you've ever read? And I'm saying West of Sunset by Stuart Onan. I read this last summer, and I just thought it was really, really good. In case you don't know, it's a historical fiction novel about F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I read it, and I thought it was really good. I was intrigued. I was actually intrigued by it, and I was interested in the setting, of Hollywood glamour in the 30s. I just love that kind of setting. So it was a really, really good read. If you could meet any writer, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you want to know? I'd probably want to meet Jane Austen. I wouldn't actually want to know anything, but I'd like to see her writing space. I've actually seen pictures of, where she'd do her writing, and I think I saw like just a quill on some of them, and it was this little tiny like a little tiny table and or a little round table, and it kind of looked a little quaint. So I just like to see that, and just to see her writing, it just be like something kind of nice to see. What books might we be surprised to see are on your bookshelf? And I'm saying Valentine by Tom Savage because I've said how I make it clear how I don't like horror. I'm not into that kind of genre, but I still have this book. And I don't really plan on reading it, but I still kind of want to just because of not because of the plot or the genre, just because, the character lives in Greenwich Village. I visited Greenwich Village and it looked nice. She, she's a best-selling author, and yeah, it's just some aspects of the character that I want to see, and because it's the horror book, yeah, people would be surprised. Like someone would be like, "I thought you don't like horror," and yeah, I'd go from there. But I'd choose this one. I'd say this. How do you organize your personal library? Well, with this bookshelf and the one in my bedroom, I go by size. I know it does bother me that they're not in alphabetical order because I'm kind of OCD about alphabetizing. But when these were by title, when these were alphabetized by title, they were all staggered. It wasn't neat. It was like some books will like cover other books if I was looking at an angle. So I start with the larger books in the back, and then they get smaller as they go down the shelf to like some smaller ones down here. What book have you always meant to read but never got around to it, or any book that you're embarrassed about not having read? And I've said this before. I made it clear that it's Pride and Prejudice, just because I talk about this book like I've read it. And I mean, I've read Persuasion. I have Persuasion over here. But I talk about this one like I've read it and like I have credibility. And I actually don't. It's just something I really, really want to read. It's just trying to get around to reading it when I'm reading other books and things. And disappointing, overrated, and just not good. What book do you feel you were just like supposed to like but you didn't, or a book you remember not you remember putting down without finishing? And I'm saying Winger by Andrew Smith because I thought I'd like this book. I've seen it on other parts of BookTube and it looked interesting, and I thought I was gonna like it once I started reading it. But once I got to the middle, I was getting really tired of Ryan Dean, and I just had to stop reading it. And um, but I based on the description and like I always like skimmed it to see like images and handwriting and things, but I just ended up not liking it that much, but I'm still holding on to it. What kinds of stories are you drawn to, and are there any you steer clear of? I'm drawn to just stories about everyday things and like just standard fiction about everyday type situations. Um, I mean, mostly. I'll make exceptions for other genres and other like themes and things. And I steer clear of, well, horror for one thing, and books that like any like period based books. Like if I'm reading the back of it and just says, I don't know, in England of 1682 or something, I'll I'll put it down. I'll bother to not finish reading the back of it. And if you could require the president to read one book, what would it be? This was actually a tough choice, but I'm saying The Great Gatsby. I don't know because it's a classics. I thought maybe I decided to narrow it down to classics, and I thought, well, maybe this one, um, because it's about American history, not about war related things, or it's more about societal things, and during like a jazzy era with like the music and the outfits and all that stuff, and just be like a really good read, and it'd be a very dramatic one, but um, and yeah, it's something that I mean I recommend this to like all types of people, so I'm sure that the president could be in one of those all types of people things. I guess I don't know. And the last question is, what book do you plan on reading next? And I'm referring back to the first question where I said The Rosie Project, because now it's a good time when I can start a book. I'm still reading Room by Emma Donoghue, but I also have like that's like a living room regular book, but I also have like bedside books, and this is like one of the bedside ones. And because I could like read two or three at once. And yeah, I'm saying this because it's about time I start another like bedside book, and I want it to be this one. So that was the New York Times by the book tag, and I'm putting in the description, I'm putting the questions down there, and I'm putting in JenCampbell's video. So I hope you liked that. I hope you also do it, and hope you subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.